Hey everybody, ronarray here, and I league started Hollow Palm Monk in 0.3. The start went very good, with scaling at Unarmed being pretty strong. Right now I'm in the endgame maps, and the build feels absolutely amazing, so I wanted to do a quick update, showcasing what I'm currently using and updating the build while giving tips to your progression. I will also keep updating it in the next few days, so feel free to subscribe to the channel to follow along, or check my guides and streams that will be linked in the description and in the pinned comment. Let's go! And in this video, I'm not only going to showcase my setup, I'm also going to showcase all my items and what I'm currently using at the moment. So first off, let's talk about the skills. During the progression, it showcased that Storm Wave is working very good again. Your Storm Wave should be that strong that you don't really need to use Tempest Flurry and Tempest Bell. I've been barely using Tempest Flurry and Tempest Bell during the campaign, and I don't think those are really needed. Instead, you should run Storm Wave. Your first support is Lightning Attunement, second one is Elemental Armament, and after that I heavily recommend to use Branching Fissures. Branching Fissures is absolutely amazing, it's going to give you a pretty decent clear and should be used in the most cases. So the next support that I'm currently using is Deliberation. And Deliberation gives you 20% casting the skill. But it's not really important because you can just stop casting and run normally in the middle. So you can cancel animation just with a roll and start walking normally. But it's still giving 20% more damage, which is very good for the skill. And during later part of the campaign and start of the maps, I heavily recommend to start investing into crit. My critical hit chance for Storm Wave right now is 38%, together with 235 critical damage bonus, which is pretty good. I will keep improving it with my 3, and I think I will reach 50-60% by the end of the next stream, maybe even 70. So that's what I'm currently focused at. The last support for Storm Wave, which I currently don't have, is probably going to be Pinpoint Critical for some time, just to get a lot of crit chance, because it's feeling very good. So during the campaign, just spam Storm Wave together with the support that I showcased. And another interesting question is what we are using for Spirit. So for Spirit right now, I have Herald of Ash, Lingering Illusion and Herald of Thunder. Herald of Thunder is here mostly because we can utilize cool bonuses from Herald of Thunder itself in the tree. So since we have a passive called Coming Calamity, which is giving increased lightning damage while affected by Herald of Thunder, Herald of Thunder is making perfect sense. That's the main reason why we're using it. Herald of Ash should be level 4, which is pretty important. It will require only 21 STR at that moment. And it's going to give you more clear because overkill damage is going to ignite enemies around, and it's going to feel much better because of it. Since we have shit ton of Spirit, I currently have 151 Spirit, I'm running Vitality and Clarity too to fix my mana issues at Herald of Ash. Lingering Illusion, on the other hand, is helping us to get power charges, and I will get back to it a little later in the video. Check out dedicated timestamps about power charges. Talking about the rest of the abilities, I'm not using Tempest Flurry and Tempest Bell at the moment, just spam the wave very close to one button build. Maybe we'll get back to Flurry and Bell later on to kill pinnacle bosses, especially after tier 2, but for now just wave is enough. And charge stuff is pretty great too, since we have charges, we can use charge stuff, and it's going to improve our damage even if not significantly. For now, there's a big chance that buff grants added quarterstaff attack lightning damage is not properly working. However, we are still generating shockwave. We still will need a little more time to test how exactly charge stuff works in general. Another cool thing that people asking pretty often about is Innervate. You can't get Innervate into Herald of Thunder anymore, but you can place it in charge stuff right here. That way, when you have a charge stuff, when you, Shockwave is going to kill shocked enemies, you're going to receive 25% of damage as lightning damage, which is a pretty nice buff, so why not? So that's pretty much it for the skills. Now let's talk about our Ascendancy and 3. So initially, I've been comparing both Chayula and Invoker. If you're interested in my take on Chayula and like what I'm recommending to run for Chayula, you can check the guide that I have in the pinned comment. But I'm currently playing Invoker and I'm going to explain what I'm using for Invoker. Why I picked Invoker over Chayula? Because with Chayula it seems there are like a few bugs running around. It's currently in a very raw form. I'm probably going to test it later and check out if we can get some cool build for Chayula, but I feel like Invoker right now showcasing much more stable results with Holopal. So your first Ascendancy should be I'm the Thunder with Invoker. Your second Ascendancy should be Lead Me Through Grace. And third is Thunder My Enemies. So Thunder My Enemies is pretty much working very good when you will have at least 30-40% of crit. While you don't have it, I heavily recommend to invest into Exposed to the Storm, because Exposed to the Storm is going to multiply your damage. However, when you already have Thunder, you can completely ignore that part. Talking about the tree itself, as you can see, I'm just going up here, taking all crit now in the campaign, investing more into crit here, taking Coming Calamity, together with some Energy Shield nodes. I also recommend to take Econ Thunder, because it's providing a pretty decent amount of damage at the moment. And another interesting question is how to fix mana issues. So for mana issues, we have two big fixes. It's Clarity level 2, which is pretty good, together with Alternating Current mana regeneration, and also Insightfulness mana regeneration. If it's not enough for you, or you're like early in the campaign, I heavily recommend to invest into conservative casting. 20% mana regeneration rate and mana cost efficiency is going to be much better. You can also get a helmet for mana regeneration, there is a unique one for it, which is pretty popular. You can just, it costs like in smooth shabby, and it could be a decent option as well. So another interesting thing, while you're just progressing in the campaign, I recommend to invest into Blinding Strike. But after you reach the maps like tier 5, tier 7, you should drop Blinding Strike and just invest more into crit. Here, like here and here. I'm also currently not taking Throat Seeker, because Throat Seeker gives a reduced critical hit chance and I don't have that much of a chance, so I'm not going to invest into it. Talking about Virulent Assault and Martial Artistry, both of those passives it seems not working with Unarmed, so we are completely ignoring them at the moment. That's pretty much where you should end up. Next notes, I'm going to invest into recovery of more energy shield, like faster energy shield recharge. Because right now I have about 1,500 life and 1,000 energy shield. Recovering that energy shield is very important part of my survivability. So that's practically what I want to do at the moment. And let's talk about the items too. Your body armor, especially when you're playing Invoker, is playing pretty big role. For now, I'm running a hybrid, evasion and energy shield, but even pure energy shield will be a pretty decent option. But getting some life, evasion energy shield is working just fine. For the helmet, I'm running just energy shield with life. At gloves, I'm aiming to get lightning damage to attacks, and if you can get +2 levels for like melee skills, it's going to be amazing, but those could be a little too expensive at the moment. And for the boots, just get movement speed to yourself, together with hybrid again, or even more energy shield in the process. Another important part right here is pretty much rings, because rings are going to help you significantly to improve your damage. So getting lightning damage to attacks and increase lightning damage on your rings is going to make your life significantly easier, because you're going to do more damage and it will be much easier for you to clear stuff. If you feel like you're lacking damage at the moment, make sure that you are updating the rings, because rings are giving you a big multiplier in general, so here both my rings. For the amulet, it's perfectly +2 to melee again, but I'm currently using a basic one, just with some elemental resistances and a little energy shield here and there, which is feeling pretty nice. And for the belt, you're just focusing on getting resistances right now, because everything else is not really important. I'm using a pretty bad belt at the moment. So make sure, here are my stats, make sure that you have like all resistances capped except chaos in the campaign, like end of the campaign, start of the mapping. And same goes for the rest. I don't have much evasion right now, I'm not investing into it heavily, because I believe like energy shield will be better to stack a defense measure once again. And another interesting question that I want to cover is charge generation. So how we are generating charges with Lingering Illusion. I'm honestly not focusing a lot on charges. I don't believe we really need charge stuff that heavily. But in case if you want it, and sometimes it could be a nice bonus on top. So let me show how we are generating it. Generally, you just need to roll, and as you can see, I'm generating charges just fine. Just make sure the enemy is hitting your illusion. It's pretty important. So perfectly roll around enemies which are attacking a lot. So for example, let me showcase that part again. Here's a set of enemies. I'm literally rolling. Here is a charge. Here are 3 charges. Everything's up. It's not really super smooth, but I don't want to bother with charges more than that. We're already feeling pretty good, and charges are barely necessary. We're mostly using it just to get Innervate from charge stuff itself. That's pretty much it. Make sure that you're rolling often and don't die when you're doing it. There's nothing else that you can practically do. I also recommend to do that against like ranged enemies, because ranged enemies are just attacking much more often. So as you can see, I generated 3 charges again. And most of the time I'm just generating those occasionally and clicking charge stuff only when it feels convenient for me at the moment. And another interesting thing is how to survive in the gameplay. So when you're playing, it's recommended to take your distance when you're fighting enemies. So your skill, like wave, is hitting from a very long distance. So you don't really care about coming too close to enemies. You can practically spam the wave from just like half a screen away, if not more. And you can keep doing it without a lot of issues. So don't pressure your monsters too heavily. You can still fight them absolutely fine from a distance. So that's been my quick update for Unarmed Monk. So far, Unarmed feels absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to experimenting with more different skills during the next few days. So stay tuned, feel free to subscribe, and I will make sure to make updates when we will have new information and new updates coming. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. ronarray out.